Alright guys, so I'm going to be discussing doing a celebrity reading for Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan. If I didn't mention their names correctly, please forgive me. So this is typically what I do when I do a reading. I don't print out the pictures of their online, but in this I'm going to be focusing on their love life, basically their split, the split that has taken place and why they chose to split up, what actually happened here. So when we tune into Channing Tatum, he's every woman's fantasy and some men too. And he's a very much like a portrayed as an object, in Hollywood, a sexual object. His sexuality is what comes into play and what people find him so attractive. Known for his roles in Magic Mike, other movies like Step 2 or Step 1 of the, those dancing movies that he starred with his ex-wife. Well, I guess they're, but yeah, there's a lot of things that contributed towards Channing. I'm going to start focusing on Channing's energy, and what I feel, what I see, is that he was in a position where he has to make money and bring butter, bread and butter onto the table. And I felt like his management and the people in Hollywood, you have to understand, when a celebrity of his nature is single, sometimes they make more money than they would being with with a partner, because there's a lot of women. A lot of his fan base are predominantly women. That's up for debate, but just to set the example, there's a lot of women that would find him more appealing as single rather than someone that is taken. Now, the relationship between both of them could be compared to like a Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, or Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman at one time, or Jennifer Aniston, and Brad Pitt, those types of fairy tale kind of relationships. But with Channing, what I got was that he was doing a lot of roles, working extensively. There was never a downtime for these two individuals. And Jenna, once she had her child and she got pregnant, it was more family oriented for her, and so she was more focused on family, and still she was being pulled into different projects, and sure, she was doing movies and whatnot, but there has been more focus around Channing. And what I see is that that Hollywood, they try to really pull these two people apart. A lot of times the production, the management, his talent agent, who manages his career, the Hollywood A-listers, whoever is behind the production of films, they have ways of, manipulating situations to drive a wedge in between couples, especially if there's two strong, powerful couples who really love each other, and they can create a certain environment in which eventually they will separate. And so this is what I see what was happening, that last, I feel like Jenna, even though she's may have supported him with the Magic Mike, projects, I really don't feel like she was, when it comes down to her own energy, that she really was very supportive of that. She didn't like the fact that her husband was being portrayed as a sexual object towards, women, and being sold, because when he does movies, he's being essentially sold. Hollywood is evil in a lot of sense. There's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of evil. And so in Hollywood, these are actors and actresses, and basically they are money-making machines. So the production company, the talent agent, they don't really see them as human beings. They see them as dollar signs, as making money. They're a machine, and the machine is going and going and going, making money. And basically this is what I saw with Channing and with Jenna, was that she did not like a lot of the stuff or the career choices that he was making. I also feel that the people around him, friends, again, the people that are over his career, that kind of give orders on what he can do, what he cannot do, There was a lot of manipulation that kind of made him fall into old patterns. These are things that probably are not being covered by the media. Like I said, they only allow us to see what they want us to see. But in the past, you know, he did have a lot of different, you know, things that he's dealt with as far as like habits. That's what I'll refer to it as, habits. You know, certain things that have grabbed his attention that are more like a temptation and not good for his health and not good for his life in general as an actor. And so I felt like he was going into that kind of pattern again, falling into a pattern which Jenna did not like that version of him. I feel like they were having a lot of arguments every day. There was a lot of control issues, and the way that he would handle things is just like kind of, you know, pack up and leave and get away from the situation. And that's, you know, how they split up. There was an Instagram photo where he was like in the desert, or basically away from everything, and they had a picture and he had a quote on there, and then Jenna took to her Instagram, I believe, and she said something along the lines that, you know, you're not the person, you know, it doesn't matter who you are as the person if, you know, you're just after chasing the wrong things. Basically, I don't know exactly how the quote went. I would have to look it up. But for the intents and purposes of the video, I'm just trying to give you a little bit background. So again, she did not like a lot of his character changes. He was more Channing the actor, you know, rather than Channing the husband. They go through personality changes. There's a lot of stress factors, lack of sleep, not being there for the children when, you know, they are needing the father figure there, and she's having to pick up the slack as the mom, you know, and it falls on her plate. This is typical things that, you know, relationships go through. They do love each other still. It is something where I don't feel like it's a permanent separation. I feel like they're going to try to, the energy I get is that these are actually two soulmates, and it's very rare that you see soulmates separate, but we can have more than one soulmate in this lifetime. So I pick up that, you know, they still love each other. This is not a volatile situation. Yes, it's volatile in the sense that they you know, they did, you know, say hurtful things. They've done hurtful things to each other, but ultimately they do love each other, and that love and the children is what's going to be pulling them back. So we may see them, you know, take like a hiatus away from each other, but then try to come back, almost like Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez did. You know, they broke up and then they came back again. I do feel like this is her true love of her entire life, and he you know, to him, Jenna is his true love as well. And so regardless of what is being exchanged now, I feel like they're going to find their way back, but it will not be immediately. You know, there's a lot of things that Channing would have to do, and, you know, that she would have to do as well. She's a very strong personality, but I do get that ultimately there is healing that is going to take place, and that they will be getting back together. How soon does this occur? I'm not certain. I don't get a specific time frame. I feel like it's almost aligns with 2019 is when we'll start seeing some headings again and start seeing more information you know, circulating about their relationship and where they're going. But they do still love each other. I feel like his career, his main focus right now is his career. He's kind of uncertain. I think like she's asked him to pull away from certain projects, and this is something else again that perhaps he didn't want to do because he was very focused on his own career, you know, and it's taking off with all the movies, and he's at the peak of his career right now. And so I feel like she kind of asked him to not, you know, turn down certain projects. I feel like the projects that they were asking Channing to take right now were more you know, kind of like Magic Mike, and kind of like would put him as a, you know, and his sexuality at the forefront, rather than, you know, getting him into roles now that are more, you know, protagonist, or more you know, around, you know, more aligned with an A-list actor, you know, doing films that are, you know, and movies that are more, you know, funny, comical, like what he's known for to do. You know, that's what he started off doing. So I feel like he's at a crossroads. He's asking himself right now, you know, whether he should continue to be doing acting or branching out into other you know, business ventures. I see a lot of I don't know if he has a current business, but I get business dealings and contracts. I feel like he's opening up. This could be either a restaurant or some other kind of, business, but basically he's going to be generating income and opening up a business. That's what I see. A lot of contractual work and business works for him in the future. As far as Jenna, she will be going back into acting, but I feel it's going to be smaller film roles, not leading actress. Maybe a couple of them, offers that will be offered, but for the most part, they're working, on getting back on track. And like I said, I don't feel like this separation is permanent. It is something that is more temporary, and they really do love each other regardless of what is portrayed in the media. Again, you can never trust what's on the media because they only allow you to see what they want you to see, and they have a way of twisting things. But he was definitely manipulated, and I feel like she was also manipulated in the fact that they were kind of put against each other by outside influences and by their own production and agents who manage their career. So whoever their publicists are, all those things that are going on. I also feel like there's I see a female who is interested in Channing, and she's coming in as a third party, possibly claiming that she is in love with him, or she's had tried to get good opportunities to have an affair with him, but he will reject that. I ultimately feel like I said there are soulmates and they're meant to be together. Whether or not they come back together, that's up to their free will. Anything can be changed. Nothing is written in stone. But as far as their love life is concerned, and their love for each other and their children, I feel like their family dynamic is still very strong, and that's going to pull them back. But we will see a lot of changes in the next couple of months. A lot more interviews. He's going to be asked about this, of course, and she's going to be asked about it too. A lot of people are in shock to see them separate. This comes as a shock to a lot of people. But like I said, sometimes certain things are necessary temporarily while they get their life back on track and basically follow their soul path. But they're far from hating each other. I don't pick up any hate or animosity. I feel like there is a lot of hurt feelings, and there is healing that is needed, but that will happen. So this is my celebrity psychic reading for Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan. I think I pronounced her name right. But if you did like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to set up a private reading with me, you can go to my website at www.raymondguzman.net/shop. And while you're there, head on over to the testimonials tab so you can see all of what my clients are saying. So thank you so much for allowing me to do this video and for sharing it with you. Have a nice day.